Welcome to the show, guys. We're talking fantasy football and reality preview, going over every single matchup, injuries. We're going to talk about the point spread. We're going to be talking about fantasy relevance, everything to get you prepared for week 2, and a little bit of starts and sits as well when I talk about fantasy football. On the show here, we've got Boss Orosky. He knows football very well. He also happens to be a Packers ambassador. What's going on, Boss?
What's going on, Joe? Thanks for having me. Week 1, good week. Not for me, but around the league, there are some good games going on. But yeah, we got a lot to dive into today.
We'll talk some Packers. We'll talk some Chargers. We'll talk every single team in some detail. Again, we're going to overview every single team. I say 2 to 3 minutes per team, I would say, Boss, right?
Yeah, it's about, we can get
Sounds right.
through that.
Now we got to plug the sponsors here, guys. Manscaped.com. If you've not treated yourself, Boss, do you know this is too much information. I actually wear these underwear, the Boxers 2.0. Do you have?
Dude, I have those. Yeah, I have those. Manscaped sent me those as well, and I'm not lying. They are the best.
They're super comfortable. You feel snug. They have a nice fit to them. Your balls feel nice. So manscaped.com. You want to use the code SHOWERLINE20. Go treat yourself. That's SHOWERLINE20 upon checkout. Try the trimmer. The Ultra Smooth Pack. I can't even think. I'm so excited about week 2. The Ultra Smooth Package, what I'm talking about. It's got the exfoliator, the shaver, everything you guys need, the trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0, everything you need to stay groomed, stay fresh, even the deodorant and body wash. What do you have? Do you have the body wash, Boss?
I don't have the body wash, actually.
You gotta try it.
I do. I have the Weed Whacker, which is a nose trimmer. I got the Lawnmower 4.0. All that other stuff.
I can tell you're using it. I don't see any nose hair sticking out.
Dude, usually I do. So yeah, it's definitely very important to have that.
Yeah. So manscaped.com, SHOWERLINE20. And finally, I got to do a plug here, guys. When we're talking about these games, up to you guys to enhance that game watching experience. I'm not telling you to do that. You got to be 18 or over, but head on over to mybookie.ag. You want to use the promo code FFC. Try it. They'll double your first deposit. So if you put in 250, you get 500. That's pretty remarkable, guys. Mybookie.ag. Enhance that game watching experience. This is a site I use, a site I trust. Go do it, because I know when I'm watching the game, some games, unless there's fantasy involved, I'm not that excited. And so I use MyBookie, and then I have a lot more fun. Give it a try. So that's mybookie.ag. FFC. All right, let's start off with this. Now, again, fast forward past the first 3 minutes if you're watching this on Friday or Saturday, because we're talking Thursday night football here. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, thumbs up, and I preview every single Thursday here. So first matchup here, we got the Chargers and the Chiefs here. I got the Chiefs slated here as a 4-point favorite. Both these guys winners last week. Chiefs beating Arizona pretty convincingly, and the Chargers, division rivals, Raiders, beating them. It was a pretty close game there. I'm excited about this game because you got Herbert, Mahomes. I'm excited to watch. What do you think of this game?
I thought Herbert and Mahomes played exceptionally well last week. As you said, played well versus the Chargers or versus the Raiders, and then the Chiefs handily beat the Cardinals, which I thought was super impressive. But for this game, I'm gonna go Chiefs because I got home field advantage with Pat Mahomes. I really like the Chargers this year. I think they are a really good team. And if this was in LA, I might go Chargers here, but I'm going to go Chiefs -4 here just for it being an Arrowhead.
I don't know. I'm going to go with Chargers.
Okay.
Maybe even winning this game. I'm not sleeping on Justin Herbert this year. I think he's a great player. I invested in some sports cards with him. I ended up selling him before the season. I should have held on to him. I still think he's the real deal. I think he's the future. I think he's better than Mahomes. But this year is going to tell. I mean,
Keenan Allen might be out, I believe.
He's out. Yeah, he's ruled. From what I hear here, Keenan Allen is ruled out with the hamstring officially. So other guys will step up. They have Carter, Palmer, other guys stepping up. Eckler had a mediocre fantasy week.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, mediocre. That's something to watch. And then again, when you're looking at from fantasy relevance, wide receivers, Mecole Hardman, I think he had a touchdown last week. You're going to get that volatility. 1 week it's going to be this guy, 1 week it's going to be that guy.
All the Chiefs are. That's
what sucks. Yeah. There's no consistency. So hard to trust him from a fantasy perspective. But I think definitely the Chargers cover the 4 points. Okay. It's going to be an exciting game. If there's a Thursday night game I'm watching, this is a good one. I mean, it wouldn't be a better one, really.
Yeah.
So that's our prediction. All right, let's move on here. We're going into the Sunday games here. Let's dive in. I'm excited, man. Week 2. And what I find, though, leading up to the season, it's very slow. And then as soon as the season comes, next thing you know, we'll be in like week 8. Like, wow, what happened to 8 weeks?
Yeah, 100%. I hate that.
I think because you're watching, you're like, okay, it's Thursday, and then you've got Sunday, and it's just like you've got something to look forward to some degree. And it's like, I just feel like if you chunk it, time kind of goes fast. It's perception of time, I guess. But and then waiting, it's the waiting for the season that kind of takes longer. So It's here, full flow, week 2, and we're talking Carolina and the Giants, and a guy I was high on, Saquon Barkley, tearing it up. He's got a good matchup for his position versus Carolina. We've got my Saquon versus the Kinships's CMC going at it. We got the Giants 2.5-point favorite. Wow, this is crazy. Are the Giants the real deal? They won last week. This is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that was a crazy win with a 2-point conversion there at the end. And we both talked about Saquon last week, and I expect, a big year from him. It's like we've been waiting a couple of years now with the injuries and whatnot, and he's still an amazing player. And I was like, okay, this dude's got to do good one of these years, The Panthers, Baker kind of gave us a Baker game to start. I mean,
Yeah.
turn over the ball. And they still lost to the Browns, led by Jacoby Brissett, who pretty much just game managed. He didn't really do anything that would say, oh, you beat them. It was mainly Chubb and Kareem Hunt. And I just don't feel great about the Panthers. And surprisingly, the Giants, like I said, like you said, impressed me. That convincing win. I'm going Giants -2.5 here.
I like it. I think Saquon runs wild again. Obviously, not really sold from a fantasy perspective on the receivers. Robbie Anderson from a fantasy perspective on the Panthers could be a viable sleeper for this week. I think he has a decent matchup. So, yeah, I mean, I think the Giants 2.5. Saquon runs wild. That's my prediction. But this is predicated on last week. Maybe Carolina comes out stronger. But I highly doubt it. But Giants, I mean, they need to win. Again, this is a year that Daniel Jones and Saquon have to step up. So
they have a very favorable schedule the next 4 weeks, I believe.
Yes.
They could very well be like a 5-0 team.
That's crazy.
Which is wild. But if Danny Jones, doesn't fumble the ball 3 times a game, they could. They could.
And if Dallas continues to play that they were, I mean, this division's up for grabs. They can make a good 100%. Fight. The Eagles could be the rival here. All right, let's move on here. Patriots and Steelers. This is a little weird for me to see this. Seeing this Patriots 2.5-point favorite over the Steelers, whose defense looked pretty good against the Bengals. I mean, how many interceptions?
5 turnovers, so 4 interceptions and a fumble on Burrow, which was just ridiculous. Well, that whole game was just wild.
So how are the Patriots? I mean, does Vegas know something we don't? How are the Patriots favored here, coming off a loss to Miami? Like, I don't get that.
Usually when that happens, it's telling you something. It's like, take them. Do you really expect the Steelers' defense, as great as it is? First off, they won't have Watt, but do you really expect them to replicate 5 turnovers in a game where they still barely won in overtime? Which they definitely deserve that game. They 100% deserve that game. But the defense carried. J.J. Watt's not there. He is a huge factor. Mitch did enough, surprisingly. But and then the Patriots side, they got pretty whooped by the Dolphins. I mean, there's not much to go off for this Patriots team. The offense is super shaky. But when Vegas is doing this, I'm going Patriots -2.5.
Well, that's what I was listening to other reports. Like, there isn't a superstar on the Patriots. Like, you've got Chase, you've got Jefferson, you've got all these big names on different teams, right? Where Cooper Kupp has been doing it for the Rams. You don't have that. You don't have that superstar player either on, at wide receiver or at running back. It's just a team that's just blah. This is our
guys.
team.
There's just guys.
Just a bunch of guys. They're just mediocre guys. And they just mash it up together with good coaching with Belichick and a decent quarterback and Mac Jones. I don't know, man. It's just, I'm not excited about the Patriots this year. They're like the little engine that could. They might just get things done in certain games. I think they're going to have a winning record. They may make a playoffs, but in this game, I'm going Steelers here. But when will be that game is my question, where Trubisky completely craps the bet and then everybody starts screaming, the name of Pickett, their first round.
It'll happen.
Sooner.
It's inevitable.
Could it be this game, though? I don't know.
It's inevitable, It's going to happen. I mean,
and again, last I heard here with Mac Jones, he apparently he was having back spasms. I heard he's back in practice, so I think he's good. It turned out that it was just back spasm, for what I heard. So
gotcha.
Should be good to go. All right, so that one, I mean, I'm going to go Steelers to cover the 2.5, man. I know things change. What do you have on this one? You say Patriots?
I got Patriots -2.5. I sometimes when Vegas is just screaming out and a lot of times when you're questioning and you're going, why is it like that? I just go with it because that's my rule sometimes.
All right, next matchup here. Both winners last week. Buccaneers 2.5-point favorite on the road versus the Saints. Saints somehow pulled it out last week against Falcons. And I don't know, man, this team's sloppy for fantasy as well. Kamara should get more touches from what I hear. His ribs were bothering him. Then you got the Buccaneers. It's a disaster there. Tons of targets. I have no Buccaneers stock from fantasy perspective. I mean, Buccaneers 2.5-point favorite. Again, going back to what I've been saying in the offseason, I really feel Brady came back to win another Super Bowl. He's obviously having some marital issues there from what I heard. I don't know the details, but him and Giselle. I mean, you got to imagine, right? Think about it. You're like, let's just say you're married. You're like, hey, hon, I've spent my entire life in football. I've dedicated my life. I'm going to retire now. I finally get to spend time with the family, the kids and stuff. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to unretire. I'm going to, you know what I mean? That's kind of a mind mess. So I can understand why there'd be
100%.
trouble in paradise there. I think the Buccaneers win this 2.5-point favorite. It's not much to ask there. I think they covered that easy. Saints are a disaster. Winston, Hill, they don't know what they're doing, man.
Yeah, the Buccaneers, I mean, they have a great defense. We saw it in week 1 against Dallas. I mean, they easily beat them. Obviously, Dak getting hurt plays a factor in that. But they have a lot of wide receivers on the injury report. I think there's like 5 of them on the injury report. I think Julio Jones used all of his energy in that one game, and now he's going to be hurt. The one game, and then just, he's done. I don't know. They got a lot of guys on injury report, but that still doesn't worry me too much. I still think they're a good team. I still think they beat the Saints here. Saints barely beat Atlanta. Still a division game, so I think it will be close. But I still got Tampa minus 2.5.
Yeah, and I think it'd be a bigger spread if they were at home, but since they're on the road, it's going to be interesting. All right, next one here. I will probably only be watching this to see if we get more Brees the Beast performance here. He was limited last week. Obviously, Michael Carter getting the start. I think that's a formality. Brees should take that job. You don't draft a person in the second round to sit him. But Jets here are the underdog. Flacco gets the nod again for this game, playing the Browns. Browns 6.5-point favorite. Again, this one, I mean, I hope the Jets lose if they sit Brees. This one, I don't care other than I want to see Brees Hall, man. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, last week, Flacco had 59 pass attempts. I mean, if you go into a game in the year 2022 with Joe Flacco quarterback, I don't think in any game plan you should go, hey, I want him to throw 59 times. So this team is rough to me. As you said, there's no real run game. They really do need to lean on Brees, in my opinion. The Browns, I mean, they impressed me with Jacoby Brissett. I was not expecting them to win that game. I mean, it was mainly Chubb and Hunt. I mean, what Chubb had 140 something yards. And then also Cade York, wonderful debut as a rookie kicker, winning the game there at the end. I'm going Cleveland minus 6.5 here.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why they shouldn't win. Again, with this one, I won't be watching it. There's no incentive for me to watch other than Brees Hall. I think I got Amari Cooper in one league from fantasy, but this is not going to be an exciting game. But the Jets, what gets me with this game is Flacco. And I really thought this guy was gone. Like, that shows you how desperate teams are for quarterbacks, that you have to resort to wacko Flacco. I mean, I don't even remember the year he won the Super Bowl. It was with the Ravens like 10 years. I can't even remember. It was a while ago.
It was a while ago. My main thing with this is okay, sure, you got your first round selection quarterback gets hurt. You bring in a veteran, right? You normally think, okay, let this guy game manage. Let's run the football. Let's try to get out here with a win. But no, last week they throw with him 59 times. I just doesn't make any sense to me. It's wild. I don't get it.
All right, moving on from that. Again, guys, head over to mybookie.ag. And if you guys are looking at these games and you want to, enhance that game watching experience, mybookie.ag, use promo code FFC. Go experience it, guys. That's a site I use. And again, a lot of fun. We're giving you guys some insight on these games, and you can use that. mybookie.ag, FFC is the code. All right, next matchup here is Dolphins versus Ravens here. Ravens, 3.5-point favorite. Lamar Jackson. Again, another surprise here. Miami comes out, pulls out a good win against the Patriots, 20-7. They beat them. They were at home, mind you. Now they're on the road against Baltimore. Both dynamic young quarterbacks, both offenses that could have some explosive plays. Ravens favorite 3.5 here. This is where we're gonna find out, is Tua for real? He's got a decent matchup.
Yeah. I liked the Dolphins last week. I picked them to win, and they did. Tua played good, and they don't have a crazy run game with Edmonds and Mostert, but the wide receivers are explosive. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. And as for Baltimore, I mean, they beat the Jets. So it's you can't, how much weight is on that? How much do you think, okay, well, this is a great Baltimore team. You don't really know. I'm not 100% sold on them. I do like Miami. That was a good win against a good Patriots team. I'm going to go Miami plus 3.5.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to cover the spread. I think Miami covers the spread, unless we see that last week was an absolute fluke. And that's the thing with week 1. We don't know, right?
And it's divisional. They know the Patriots, right? So, they live to beat the Patriots, and they have been in recent couple of years. The Dolphins have at home, and definitely.
So moving on to the next match here, okay? We got Washington, who beat Jacksonville last week. Now, are an underdog because they won, but Vegas is like, okay, well, they just beat Jacksonville. Now they're the dog on the road versus Detroit. Detroit's a 1.5-point favorite. Again, this could go either way. We're gonna have to see, is Carson Wentz for real or was he just
Yeah.
playing Jacksonville? What do you think on this one?
I mean, I thought, Carson Wentz, he's shown in the past, this dude can be a MVP caliber quarterback. Is that what he's going to do this year? I doubt it, but he has the skill, right? They still have a little bit of trouble with Jacksonville, which is probably why they're not the favorite here. It takes a lot to make Detroit a favorite. So there's that. But for Detroit, I mean, they put up a tough comeback against Philly. It looked like Philly, had that in the books, and Detroit kind of came back there. They still lost, but DeAndre Swift looked great. Now he does have an ankle injury. I don't know the exact specifics on how it's going. But I'm still going to go Washington covering here, +1.5.
Wow, it's going to be close. I'm an Amon-Ra believer, and I still think they get it done on the ground because I'm not a Swift lover at all. So I think
I have one of mine.
yeah. I mean, you're tempted to see maybe Carson Wentz is the real deal this year. That's what
we're gonna get a 3 interception game from him soon. I know we are. Like I just don't think it'll be Detroit.
Yeah. I mean, I ended up buying a bunch of his sports cards when he was on the Colts. Just when he got during that trade hype, when he got onto the Colts, I bought them. I sat on them. They did just completely decline in value.
Now they're coasters for your
Now they're coasters, unless he has a big game, right? And then I could just sell the hype, right? So I'm hoping, I'm rooting for him to have a big game so I could dump these cards off and never look at his ugly face again. So I'm gonna say Detroit covers this one. I just a gut feeling here, 1.5, because I could go either way. I'm leaning Detroit. But maybe Carson, I'm hoping Carson gets a blowout. You never know. All right, next one here. Speaking of the Colts and Jags, Colts, man, this is going to be something interesting to watch. 3.5-point favorite on the road. Matt Ryan, I watched that game. It took him, again, this is typical Matt Ryan. I don't know what it is, man. It's like he likes to feel pressure that I'm going to lose. They were down, 20-3. I like to feel pressure that I'm getting smushed and I'm getting crushed. And then I'm going to turn something on. Like, this is what annoys me with Matt Ryan. And I watched his games in Atlanta because I was a shareholder in fantasy with him for years. He doesn't want to get it going till like the late third, early fourth quarter. It's something that's really frustrating to watch here. So, I mean, Pittman's going to step up. I think Alec Pierce, he's supposed to be the wide receiver too, crapped the bed last week, dropped the ball, was defended heavily in concussion protocol now. I don't know if he's playing. Jacksonville, Kirk, I like the way he's playing. I think he's a good start this week. James Robinson, this was a big debate from fantasy. Everyone's like, yeah, let's get ATN. I'm like, let's hold off ATN. Robinson's the one, proved he was. Will that maintain? I think there's some talent on both teams, but obviously the Colts, I think, cover this one. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, the Colts last week, it's like, how do you tie in week 1, let alone the Texans, right? I think they severely underperformed last week, but Jonathan Taylor, you run for 161 yards and you still tie. The Colts, I do expect a bounce back here. Jacksonville's still a weak roster to me. Trevor Lawrence has yet to wow me at all, ever. And as you said, Travis Etienne, I mean, would he drop that wide open walk-in touchdown pass? I'm not sold on this Jacksonville roster. I got a bounce back Colts game here. Going them -3.5.
One question. I want to just have a quick talk about this. Jonathan Taylor had a pinnacle year. And again, it's never happened, or it's very rare. I think Priest Holmes was the last guy who duplicated 2 consecutive massive years at running back, finishing twice in a row in fantasy on top. Priest Holmes, 2002, 2003. I think he was on the Chiefs. So when you look at Jonathan Taylor, astronomical year last year, and the way he was running, you think that he would duplicate that. So again, I don't want to curse. I'm knock on wood here. Nothing happens, but can he sustain this? I don't see him. Like, I see injury coming. The way he's like, you can't rush the ball 32 times a game, every single game, and not expect to get hurt. I'm a little concerned. It was such a high pace, which I love for fantasy, but is it sustainable? What do you think?
Well, Joe, I'm a Badgers fan, so I will say, I think Jonathan Taylor will have another great year, and I believe in him, and I'll give you a little sneak input on a guy in a couple of years that'll be in the draft that will be better than any of the running backs in the NFL, and that's Braylon Allen from Wisconsin.
Okay. Well, look out.
He's I think he's 19 right now, and he's probably one of the best running backs in the country at 19. He's built like Derrick Henry, has a speed like Jonathan Taylor. This dude is legit, probably the best running back we're going to see come out of Wisconsin, and that's saying a lot. So be on the lookout for that. But JT, I mean, it's running back Huey at Wisconsin. They build running backs, right? And JT is no exception. That dude is a beast. I fully expect him to have another great year.
And looking at all the games last week, all the running backs, he is the best running back in the game as of week 1. So definitely, without a doubt.
Yeah.
All right, moving on here. The Falcons versus the Rams. Again, this is another crazy spread. Falcons on the road, 10.5 point underdog here against the Rams. And like, what did the Rams do last week? I mean, didn't they lose like significantly 31-10? Is Vegas basing this on like a championship team versus a crappy team last week? This is literally feeling like it's predicated completely on last year. You got Mariota, you got Kyle Pitts, you've got some weapons there with Drake London. They got Cordell Patterson, who, again, I think he's completely underrated as a player. And you got the Rams, who played like crap. You got Cam Akers. What the heck has he done? And again, if you keep forcing, again, maybe I'm a bit of a hater because I'm anti-Cooper Kupp. I think he's going to get hurt or decline this year because I've said don't draft him. But first week one, great. Can you continually force feed Cooper Kupp consistently without, I don't see that, man. I don't see him being force fed that much.
Yeah, I think he's going to get his targets. He's going to get his receptions. Yeah. It's hard to replicate a triple crown. It's just probably just not going to happen. Rams are coming off a huge loss. Stafford looked really rough. As you said, Cam Akers. I mean, where the hell did he go? The Falcons, Mariota played decent. He impressed me a little bit, and that's not saying much. He didn't do crazy amount, but I didn't expect him to, go out there and play decent. I didn't expect Cordell Patterson to go off like that. 120 yards. Usually it's him in the receiving game and a couple touchdowns. And that's about it. But they need to evolve Kyle Pitts more. And coming from a Packers fan, sometimes you just gotta, put week one in the back burner. The Rams are still a good team here. And like I said with one of the other games earlier with the Vegas, saying minus 10.5 after getting beat easily last week, that's telling me something. I'm still going Rams minus 10.5 here at home.
I think Atlanta covers. I think they're completely downplaying the injury of Stafford.
That is definitely a concern there.
Definitely. And I think that week one was an indication of that. Obviously, Buffalo's defense, good defense there. It was a tough matchup coming back. I think the Super Bowl hangover continues. I think Stafford gets exploited. He gets beat up. He gets worn down. I think that it's like anything in life right now. Let's just say you go for a 10-mile run, right? And you crush it. You feel good. A 10-mile run. I did it first time ever. Maybe the next day you might not feel like doing 10 miles. You might feel like doing 8 or 7, right? I already did the 10 miles. I think they blew their load, basically, is what I'm saying here. I really think that was the best Rams you're going to see for a long time. And I think the point I'm trying to make week by week, I think Atlanta covers this spread, but we're going to have to see. This is going to tell us, because if the Rams come out and they start firing and they do well and they crushed Atlanta, okay, maybe we got a chance. But if they keep it close or lose to Atlanta, we've got a full Super Bowl hangover. This is a telling tale. Week 2 is that week. It's going to tell us. All right, next matchup, speaking of telling us the truth, is Seattle. Oh, by the way, Van Jefferson, I think he did not participate for that. Not that he really matters. Wednesday, his knee was bothering him. I don't know if it's a big deal. Not that he's going to see targets if they're going to do what they did week 1. But again, Seattle versus 49ers. This is another crazy one. 49ers. How are they 8.5-point favorite against Seattle, who went in there and just not smashed, but they, convincingly beat Denver.
That was their Super Bowl this year.
I guess I get you're at the home and you just beat them by 1. And I guess because they were saying that Russell Wilson didn't play in preseason, they didn't really get their full reps, blah, 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 blah. Excuses for Russell Wilson, who just got paid $1 bazillion. Again, 8.5 in a divisional game like Seattle. I mean, I think they could beat 49ers who lost last year. I'm not even sold on Trey Lance being the real deal, man. I'm all over this 8.5 spread, by the way.
Seattle. I am too. I mean, I don't know if we're going to see what we saw from Geno ever again. Who knows? We might. But that was just wild. I did not expect them to beat Denver at all. I think Denver was a 10-point favorite, and I still chose them. They wanted that win bad, and they got that win, right?
Yeah.
I didn't expect the 49ers to lose to the Bears either. They look great going into half. The Bears didn't have a single point, and then what do you know? They come back. But the weather was absolutely awful there. I don't know if you saw some field conditions, just Soldier Field. Terrible, right? Some of the lines are not even straight. There's monsoon puddles in the middle. awful field, right? So you can't really look into too much of the quarterback play because both Lance and Fields didn't play good at all, but horrible conditions. But I agree. Seattle getting 8 points here, I'm taking that.
Yeah, and the
divisional game, it's going to be close at minimum.
Yet I get it. Like you said, 49ers now being at home, settled in now. This is the week again where you're going to kind of see who the 49ers are. And is Geno Smith for real? Remember that quote he just said? He goes, "They wrote me off and I never wrote back." So I don't know if you read that quote about
I did.
Geno.
Yeah.
And Kenneth Walker should be getting up to play this week. He should be back. It's going to be interesting to see how much him and Penny split. I imagine it's going to be a Penny leading the backfield there. So I'm kind of excited to see how this plays out because I want to see if Seattle is the real deal and Trey Lance. So there is something to watch there for sure. But again, going back to like, there's only a handful of good quarterbacks like Geno Smith, Flacco.
Yeah.
Like, how are these people starting in the NFL? It's beyond me. But Geno Smith,
Hey, yeah, they went and beat the Broncos. So I guess that's why.
So Geno Smith has got a case. Flacco, I'm still not sold on that.
No.
All right, moving on here. A game I'm excited about, and again, a big gap here. Denver lost, and I'm a Davis Mills ambassador. I've got a bunch of his sports cards. I went all in on him. I think he's the real deal. And then going back into that conversation, he would have been the first round, first overall or probably first round pick at quarterback this year. Because again, if he had stayed in college, right, one more year, but he ended up playing last year. He was efficient. 2 touchdowns last week, no interceptions. Looked good. Now he didn't, put together a game-winning drive at the end. Obviously, there's some things missing there, some overthrows, stuff like that. But he looked good, right? And Denver did not. So Denver, obviously on paper, Javonte looked pretty good, minus those fumbles near the goal line. I mean, I don't think this was a problem with Russell. I think it was just an overall team problem, especially with those fumbles with Melvin and Javonte near the goal line. So this is going to be an interesting game to watch. I heard Dameon Pierce-Lovey saying that he should have gave him more volume, which he should have. There's in no world should Rex Burkhead be starting and getting more snaps than anybody at all. So this is something to watch. Very fantasy relevant between Judy Sutton, still trying to debate on who the wide receiver 1 is there. Judy had that big catch for a touchdown. Sutton was getting targeted more near the middle and end of the game. So I'm excited about this game again. I've got a lot on the line because I am a Judy owner. I'm a Dameon Pierce and Javonte owner in some leagues. And I've got Davis Mills cards, and I'm an owner with him. What are your thoughts on this game? Who wins, and is Davis Mills for real in your opinion?
Yeah, I thought Mills looked pretty good. I have the same thing as you. I like Davis Mills. I think he's an underrated quarterback. I do agree with Lovie Smith. They do need to give the ball more to Pierce, 100%. And I'm a little biased there. I do have him in a couple of my leagues, because I believe in him. I do believe in this guy, right? As for the Broncos, not a great outing for Nathaniel Hackett. This team looked all over the place with just mistakes and whatnot, and kicking that field goal at the end when it's like, you just paid this quarterback $1 bazillion. It's like a 4th and 5. You're going to kick a 64-yard field goal rather than just try to get a little closer. Maybe they win the game if they choose to try to go for it there, right? It is a home opener for the Broncos. I don't expect them to put out another stinker. I'm having them cover 10.
Nice. Yeah, I think I'm going Houston. I'm going Houston to cover that 10. I think Davis Mills is completely being slept on. If you look at the end of last season, he beat the Chargers, and he kept it close with Tennessee. So, again, I'm excited about this. And the Colts is a good defense. Like, they're not like a crappy defense. He was under pressure, but he lost his confidence after he got hit and had that sack fumble or whatever happened there near the end, and he got smoked. So after that, he was a little more cautious, watching his blind side, a little bit more paranoid. And then he kind of lost it, but he looked good in the first 3 quarters. And again, if he gets that confidence back, starts getting more on target, not overthrowing as much, I think Houston keeps this tight, man. I really like them covering the 10 points. I think that's too high for a team that kept it close with a better defense than the Colts, and Denver losing last week. I don't know. Maybe they come back stronger. They are at home. I love the 10 points here. So we're going to have to see who's right here. All right, next one here. Arizona and the Raiders. Raiders at home, 5-point favorite. I really believe that both these quarterbacks are, again, we're talking about a league where quarterbacks are so few and far between, good ones, that is. Yeah. And these guys are good, but I think they're overpaid. I think a guy like Derek Carr, years to hours were not wild. What, 1 playoff appearance I think he's had, or 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Never won a playoff
last week,
It just, was it 3? I should be monitoring this. No, was it 3 interceptions he threw?
It was. Yeah, it was.
That's brutal, man. And again, it's going to be the same excuse, man. Well, you've got, we had all the weapons, but his division was too tough.
Come on, man.
It's too hard to beat Justin Herbert and Pat Mahomes. They're just so good, It's going to be the excuse. These guys are going to finish dead last in their division. I'm calling it right now. And, I'm not sold on them at all. But in regards to this one, it could go either way. I do like Arizona covering the 5.5.
Yeah, I do as well. Devontae did Devontae things as he should, but
Yeah.
Derek Carr's still okay, just a guy, whatever. Cardinals looked bad week 1. I'm surprised they played that bad because usually the Cardinals are a good early season team. No run game, no true wide receiver won that game, but I got the Cardinals here as well, plus 5.5.
Definitely. All right. Bengals and the Cowboys here. Bengals 7-point favorite as well here. Cowboys look like crap. Cooper Rush, I think, is starting for them. Dak
Yeah.
out. I don't know how long he's out for, 6 weeks, something like that. Again, this one, Cowboys got to do something. They're at home. They didn't look good week 1. They got to run the ball more with Zeke. They're just not trusting the offense. CeeDee Lamb looked like garbage. The whole team looked like crap. And again, partly due to injury, partly due to it was a tougher matchup last week. I don't know what happened to them, man. What do you think here?
Yeah, I think both of these teams played like crap week 1. I mean, Joe Burrow 5 turnovers. Steelers had them strapped up, but I still expect them to roll over Dallas here. I mean, I feel bad for Dak here. As you said, I think they got to lean on the run game more. They have to. And now, especially with Cooper Rush at quarterback, they just got to give the ball to Pollard and Zeke. Can Cooper Rush win a couple games? We'll see, but I'm still going Cincy -7 here. It was actually 7.5 last night. So, but I'm going 7.
But I think Dallas can keep them in the game, the defense, that is, because again, they
Yeah, they're
neutralized
good.
Brady for pretty much the entire game. I think he got a touchdown near the end, right? I think they were neutralizing Brady. So I
Yeah.
don't see why they wouldn't neutralize the Bengals offense to some
Yeah. The thing is, it's just Dallas is the only team last week that didn't score a single touchdown. So I just don't expect the Bengals to come out and turn over the ball 5 times again. I just don't expect it.
So yeah, something to watch here. All right, 8:00 game. Your
All
game.
right.
I was gonna piss you off. I was trying to find my Bears hat. I can't find it for the life of me. It must be my wife must have threw it out because she heard you complaining or something like that. She didn't want to get me in trouble. So anyway, it's gone. I can't find it. Next time I'll have to bring the Bears hat. But here we are. Packers had a bad game, obviously. Yeah. They're a 10-point favorite. And this is something that between us, I used to do some, spreads and betting on this stuff. And I always used to there's always been a high spread with this. It always seems to be Packers. And I always tend to take the underdog here. It always seems to cover for the most part. 10 points is a high spread for, again, we didn't see Fields perform to his top potential last week because of the rain, the weather, and all that stuff. Mooney had a terrible game. There is a divisional game here. So I don't see any reason why it's not tighter than 10 points, especially the way Packers played last week. Can you what do you think of this one? And again, the Bears are 1-0, by the way.
Yeah, they are. So credit to them for getting that win there. They come back in the second half. I won't shade away from that. But the thing about Sunday Night Football and Lambeau home opener, the Packers normally roll over the Bears Sunday Night Football in Lambeau.
Yeah.
And, Aaron Rodgers, after a week 1 loss, he's 4-0. So the spread's one thing, but I see the Packers winning this, right?
Oh yeah.
They played sloppy week 1, right? I expect a big outing from Aaron Rodgers and the young wide receivers. We saw your guy, Christian Watson.
Oh, that broke my heart. Now let's talk about this because this is a big problem. Okay.
I'll give you my thoughts. You go first, but I'll give you my thoughts on it.
Here's how I feel. I'm kind of torn on this. Okay. Christian Watson could be the wide receiver 1 if given volume. So I'll give you an example, right? If Rodgers had thrown the ball to him 20 times, I guarantee Watson would have caught it 14 out of the 20. Guaranteed. And that would have produced fantasy points, would have got him dynamic. But I think Rodgers was being ignorant. I thought his ego got in the way. I could clearly see he wasn't looking downfield. He was just throwing it to easy passes to Dillon and Jones. So my question is, and I don't know what's going to happen here. And then he went to Dobbs a few times, and he looked pretty reliable as well. So I don't know. I just don't know if Rodgers is saying, F you, I'm just not going to throw to you. You're dead to me. Or is he going to just turn it on and say, I'm just going to trust you now? Like, I don't know where his mind is at, but I know his ego kicked in. I know he was an ignorant guy last week, and it was that drop shaking his head. And then there's that other play where he targeted him on, I think on the third target, where he didn't, Watson didn't turn his head in time, and there was a complaint there.
Yeah, a little flat route. Yeah. See, Aaron Rodgers every once in a while has these games where it just, like you said, he's just not looking sometimes. It's just like, okay, dude, you think, oh, no one's getting open. And then you watched all 22 and you're like, okay, these guys are getting open. I watched it. Christian Watson had a deep dig route in one of the plays, and he is literally wide open. And Aaron Rodgers just kind of just looking around. It's like, dude, he's right in front of you, right? Dobbs and Watson got open that game. And one thing about Christian Watson, which is very, good, although he did drop that 75-yard touchdown, right? This is the first play of the first game of the season, and it's a scripted play, so they knew what they were doing, and they still had this set up. Okay, we're going Christian Watson on this 9 route. You're going to burn Patrick Peterson, and that's exactly what he did. Super impressive how he got that open with ease. It didn't even look like he tried.
Yeah, he was gliding
right by him. So that's gonna come back, right? 100%. The fact that they had that set up, a lot of trust in Christian Watson. He had the second most snaps under Sammy Watkins. Now, of course, Alan Lazard wasn't there, but he started at wide receiver. He had the second most snaps there. I do trust him still. It's gonna come back. I think Christian Watson can be a big player on this team. But Aaron Rodgers, he's got to go through his progressions the right way. His offensive line, not great. Hopefully Elton Jenkins comes back this week. I think he was really worried about the offensive line. Even when it did block well, he was still worried. Like, okay, who's going to hit me? You know what I mean? Because he's worried about that offensive line. And that means he was not, he didn't go through his reads correctly. He wasn't patient, and he just checked it down to Dylan a lot, which they had guys open most of the time. So he's got to do that. He's got to play to his normal self. He has a game like this every once in a while, but I expect a good, smooth offense here in week 2 in Lambeau, home opener. The defense showed flashes. As long as they're not putting Preston Smith on their top wide receiver, I think we'll be okay. I expect the defense to fly around versus Justin Fields.
So again, do you think Lazard is going to, I don't think Lazard is, this is my feeling. I don't think Lazard is that capable though. Like, do you think he can be the one or
he's going to get number 1 snaps. That's a guarantee. If he's healthy, cause they love him in the offense for blocking. They love him in general. Right. So he's going to get the snaps, whether he gets a ton of targets and receptions, who knows, but he's going to be on the field. So that's where that's at. Right. Sammy Watkins and Randall Cobb had like very, very minimal yards per route run last game compared to Watson and Dobbs. So it's a turn, whenever they decide, okay, these guys maybe don't have it. Sammy Watkins is still Sammy Watkins. At that point, yeah, Christian Watson's going to get more snaps than him, but he still didn't get more snaps than Sammy last week. So
sorry, Watson had more snaps than Watkins, right?
No, Watkins had slightly more. He had the most snaps out of all wide receivers last week.
That's BS, man. He's not even that good.
I think he had like a catch maybe on like a screen. I think that's it.
I can't believe it's similar to Flacco. I can't believe Watkins is still in the NFL.
I like him. Like I think he's a good veteran option. He obviously didn't show it last week, but who knows? He could have been open more, and Aaron Rodgers just didn't look his way. So I think we will get a random Sammy Watkins game this year, like he does every year. But will he be consistent throughout the year? Probably not.
But do you think Rodgers purposely punished Watson?
No,
you don't think so? I think he did.
No.
Are you sure? He's like, you drop this, I'm not going to target you for.
No, I don't think so at all. I don't think that's a thing. Aaron Rodgers is going to hit the open man if he sees it. I think he was just very flustered and off his game last Sunday. I don't think it was him looking at Watson going, nah, screw you, and going, no, I don't think that's the case.
Okay, all right, that's good because that's what I was thinking. Okay, maybe that's a fantasy head thinking.
No, the fact that they had that set up play 1. They believe in Watson. They believe what he can do. He's going to get that again. I guarantee it. And it might even be as soon as this week where he gets an 80-yard touchdown. The dude, Patrick Peterson used to be a wonderful cornerback, and he's washed now, but still not any Joe Schmo can just simply burn a guy like that.
They made it look easy, right?
Oh my gosh.
It wasn't even close. Like the separation.
No, Patrick Peterson. I don't know if he fell asleep or something. I don't know what happened. But.
And that would have exploded onto the
Oh my God. Imagine the demographic right now. Like
everyone be like, Christian Watson off waivers. We got to get him. Joe was right, because I've been all over Christian
Watson. I have him one of my teams, but
I'm on all my teams.
The game could have went totally different. He catches that first pass. Who knows? It's momentum. It's the flow of the game. They completed 0 passes, 20 yards plus. It was awful.
Hindsight. Anyway. Yeah. All right. So that being all said, the Bears cover 10 points.
I got Packers covering 10.
All right. I'm going to be texting you, yelling at you.
I bet you will.
Either way. Either way, for fantasy and reality.
Yep.
All right, and the last one here, Bills are a 10-point favorite at home versus the Tennessee Titans, who didn't look the greatest. Henry looked like garbage. The team looked like, I don't know what they look like, man. It was rough. And now they've got a tough matchup. Derrick Henry, prime time. He's got to step up.
I think he will, but they need more wide receiver production. I think the most targets went to Kyle Phillips, which I do like. So that's a little sleeper guy. Yep, there you go. Might want to store him on your bench. The targets are there, right? Him and Curtis Samuel were 2 guys I was looking at. Curtis Samuel got targets, so did Kyle Phillips, right? So for the Bills, For the Bills, they came out super hot against the Rams. They're probably the best roster in the NFL, definitely the top ranked team right now, I'd say, in terms of team rankings. I don't think that changes here. I got Buffalo -10, but I do expect Derrick Henry to do Derrick Henry things.
Yeah, I'm gonna get again. I like the widespread, and I take the points here. I'm gonna go Tennessee on this
Okay.
one. I think they bounce back to some degree, keep it closer, prime time, and somehow neutralize the Bills. Somehow, I don't know how, but they're gonna have to. I don't know, keep pressure on Josh Allen. They got so
Yeah.
many targets,
Yeah.
man. Gabe Davis and Diggs, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be another entertaining one because you got the King playing. If the King
Yeah.
wasn't playing, I wouldn't be excited.
No.
If it was like Buffalo versus like the Commanders, I probably would tune out.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't care for that game. So they're keeping it interesting, and I think the NFL knows that they want to make these games relatively interesting with some big names here in prime time. I haven't looked at next week, so we're gonna talk about next week.
We got Monday. We got Vikings Eagles. Right?
What are we talking? Mondays? One day? When's this?
This week, right?
Oh, okay. Oh yeah. I forgot, but there's two. There's two on Monday.
So yeah, it's the
I
Titans
overlooked
Bills
that one.
and then Vikings Eagles.
Okay, yeah, Vikings Eagles. Again, I don't really care about this. I'll be watching it. To see what happens with Dalvin Cook.
Yeah,
those guys.
Yeah, Vikings. I mean, they had a great game against the Packers. I got to give them credit, right? They had a great game plan. Jefferson killed them. Packers played soft zone the whole time, barely shadowed Jefferson with Jair at all. So, I got to give them credit. Packers had another stinker week 1, just like last year. So Vikings, good win, right? The Eagles all around look good. AJ Brown balled out. Didn't expect that. But I'm going with this game. I go Philly at home, -2.5.
I think Philly could win it. I don't know. This one's gonna be close as well. Obviously, 2.5. That kind of shows that. But are they going to still force feed Jefferson again? Is this going to happen? Thielen was a non-factor.
They didn't have to force feed him. He was wide open. Like Packers ran such a soft zone. I mean, Quay Walker was on him a couple times, which no discredit to Quay, wonderful game, but it's like you can't put these linebackers on Justin Jefferson. Like, come on. Like Preston Smith lined up twice over him. It's like, what are we doing? What are we actually doing? So
let's talk about that. How was he just creating such good separation? Or
there was no separation. There's no one to separate from. He's just running in the middle of wide open zones.
Well, why? That's another problem. Like, why? Like, it's going to Jefferson. Why are you not blocking the only target they have? This is what kills me with defense. It's like it seems all the time with the Chiefs, right? Anyone playing the Chiefs, it's going to Kelsey. Like, it's going to Kelsey. It's like 5 straight throws to Kelsey. He's crushing you, and he's still wide open.
Yeah,
like
the Packers have such a great personnel on defensive backs to run man, yet they don't. I don't get it. Eric Stokes, Rasul Douglas, Jair Alexander, all excellent cornerbacks. If it was my defense, which, Joe Barry is Joe Barry, and he usually is just a sit back and play zone, rush 4 kind of guy, I would man up Jair on the best receiver on their team regardless. That's the first thing you do, right? Your guys are going to get home. You have a good front 7. Quay Walker looked really good. He hurt his shoulder, but he was at practice full yesterday, so he should be good for this game. Devondre Campbell looked good. Safeties looked awful. Adrian Amos and Darnell Savage looked awful. They were another problem. That's definitely, a lot of the reason why Justin Jefferson was also wide open. But I don't know why you're playing soft zone and why you're not covering one of the best, if not the best, receivers in the game.
It's crazy, man. It doesn't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
So anyway,
me neither.
So that's it, guys. That's to break down each matchup. I appreciate you coming on, Baz. That was a good breakdown. I'm excited. Week 2 is around the corner. We got some football today to tie us over. I don't know. I don't really like that window of waiting. Thursday, then you got to wait Friday, Saturday. I don't like. There should be like a Friday, Saturday game too, or something. I don't know.
Luckily, I play in a recreational league Saturday, so I got that little filler. You know what I mean? Where it's you got football Thursday, you got a little off day Friday, football Saturday, football Sunday, and you got college too. So that's another thing.
I tend to watch UFC on Saturdays. That kind of gets me through the weekend. So. All right, boss, we appreciate you guys. Subscribe, thumbs up, follow Boss Roski, linked them below, the YouTube channel. We appreciate you coming on. And fantasy football and reality NFL Week 2 is here. There's your preview and picks. We are out. Thanks, guys.